Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everybody. Whenever I say this word, there is apprehension, sometimes a little bit of a trigger, a little bit of uncomfortableness, but you know deep down inside that it's good for you, or it's probably good for you. It can make you feel a whole lot better. I'm talking about acupuncture. Yeah, right away conjures up, oh my gosh, needles. No, we're going to dispel some of those myths for you today and talk about the benefits of traditional Chinese medicine. And that also includes a lot of other things, including cupping and also herbal medicine, which I'm a huge fan of. Totally changed my life. She is the person behind Rose Hill Wellness, which is a holistic integrative approach to health. And we're going to bring her in here and learn a whole lot more. Alissa Stockton joins us here on the program. How are you today?
Hi, I'm doing good.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for allowing us to kind of break this all down. First of all, acupuncture, ancient. It's been around for centuries. If it wasn't so good and so impactful, we wouldn't be talking about it in 2024, right?
Right.
What do you hear? What do you hear from most people? Is it let's go right there. Is it the needle that they're afraid? Is it going to hurt? What are some of the things that you hear?
Well, yeah, some people are, feel like, well, it's like an injection and I don't want that. Totally understandable. But it's not quite like an injection because I do injections and there's definitely a difference between an injection and a acupuncture needle. The acupuncture needle is not hollow. An injection needle is hollow. So it's a small fill form needle that is about the size of a hair. And most patients don't feel when I've done it to them. They are surprised. They're like, okay, I'm still waiting. I'm like, okay, so you're done. So, and that's always nice when that happens. That does not happen every time, I will say, but most people, it's like, especially on the back. When it's on the front, it's people can see it. They're more likely to feel it.
Somebody told me that you can fit multiple acupuncture needles inside a traditional injection needle.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It says a lot.
Needles are about the size of a hair, so it's very, very thin.
Yeah, and also I'm sure you've heard this before. Acupuncture needles are not like any other needle, not reusable, right?
Oh no, we don't reuse them. We throw them in the biohazard box that goes to the medical waste facility that burns them.
Yeah.
They're a one-time use.
Actually, somebody actually said that to me. Don't they reuse them? Like, no. Like, ew.
Maybe you should turn that person in who's doing that.
Seriously. Why does it work and how does it work?
Well, the body is electric. It's energetic. And the needles stimulate the immune system, the nervous system. And according to TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, they stimulate the qi, the channels, the energy that's running through your body that's not in a blood vessel. So they're interesting the way the points work. There's a lot of books on the subject. One of the more interesting books I feel like was the one about how we grow as a fetus and how these points connect. In other words, sometimes you're like, why is my acupuncturist doing a needle on my leg? It's my shoulder that hurts, and we do localized points too, of course, but then we'll do some distals. And, the pharyngeal nerve goes right under the shoulder. That's why. And it's down there on the leg.
So I'm a big believer in energy. It's real. Kind of changed my life once I harnessed the power of it. I had no idea that acupuncture connects with your energy. I just thought it might have been maybe trigger points, muscle points that maybe it interrupts or connects with, and that's where the magic happens. I didn't know it was before, the chi. I've only learned about the chi in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a bioelectric medicine,
Amazing.
an energetic medicine.
What can it help you with?
Oh my, what can it not help you with? That's a shorter list. So
Hmm.
if I think you need surgery for something, then I'm gonna say, yeah, you can do acupuncture till surgery, but it'll speed up the healing. So maybe do the surgery and then we'll do acupuncture, speed that healing. So there's a few things that I wouldn't treat. Emergency medicine. If you got shot, if you got stabbed, do not come to my office.
Sure.
Please go to the ER. So yeah, emergency medicine, everything. It's really good with chronic medicine. That's where acupuncture really shines, is pain, chronic pain, and chronic disease.
Hmm. Chronic disease. Give some examples.
Um, Asthma, arthritis. There's a lot of good research on NIH about osteoarthritis, lower back pain. Medicare Advantage pays for acupuncture if you're doing it for lower back pain, because there's been enough research for them to say, yeah, do it.
Wow.
And other insurances pay for more broad issues. You can have headaches, migraines, asthma, eczema, skin problems. It's the range is everywhere, because it's one of the oldest intact functional medicine systems that we have on the planet. Um, there's been thousands of years of treating everything, basically
Hmm.
everything there is to treat. Um, it's been done.
Wow. What about supporting somebody who has, and there's many different types, but somebody who has cancer?
Yeah, definitely. There's treatment for cancer. Now, that's a tricky one. We try and be careful with that one. Acupuncture is never going to cure cancer, but it's going to make you feel better. And it's
Sure.
going to make you less sick when you're going through chemo and radiation, for sure. Now, herbal medicine, on the other hand, is more directed towards viral, bacterial, or even immune modulation, in which cancer is overgrowth and your immune system's not taking care of it. So it's more direct in that way.
Can you, Alyssa, share a story of somebody that you did some treatments on and they went from here to there?
I'm with acupuncture alone, or herbal medicine, or the whole system.
Um, that's a great point, and we're going to get to that. But let's just start with acupuncture. Just that.
With acupuncture, yeah, a lot of pain issues, chronic pain. I had this one interesting patient. It was years ago, and he's already passed on, but he was a World War II vet, and I got him in the room, and all right, what's going on? And well, my neck hurts, my neck. Okay, how long have you had this? Well, like 50 years or more. So, okay, what did you do? He didn't want to talk about it. I finally got it out of him. Apparently, he had to jump out of a car in East Berlin shortly after World War II,
Wow.
when the car was going 50 miles per hour. And he was quite a character. He told me he would hang in the tree to like lengthen his neck, but it was always having this problem. And so I gave him one treatment, and then I didn't see him again. I would see him at the gym or whatever. And finally I saw him a couple months later. I said, hey, you didn't come back. Usually it takes more time. I mean, this is a 50-year-old injury. And he said, no, it's gone.
Wow.
I was like, well, okay, so that's a magical case. That's amazing. I was amazed. That really amazed me. And I thought, wow, that's really powerful for that to happen. I don't expect that every time, of course. I expect, this is going to be a therapy we're going to work with, and here's our options, and this is what we're going to do. And but that was a one and done. That was amazing. It's happened. I've had it happen a
Mm.
couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah, I give that gentleman a lot of credit for coming to see you, and believing that it's going to work because
He
um,
didn't believe it.
he did.
He
So he was
just,
just like, roll the dice, see what happens.
that's what he was like. He was like, I don't know about all that. That seems kind of crazy to me.
Wow.
And I said, well, that's what I do. So, why don't you come see me? He did.
Wow. Before we get to some of the other modalities that you have in your tool chest there, your holistic tool chest to help people, how did this all begin for you, Alissa? What you have the journey of holistic medicine, wanting to help people. Where did it begin?
Started when I was pretty young. I was 18 and I took medical coding and billing and management at college. And I didn't like it. And
Mhm.
so I moved on to nursing. And so I took nursing, and it was right in the 1980s when they switched from 8-hour shifts to 12-hour shifts on your feet at the hospital. And then that didn't thrill me.
Wow.
And so I felt like, and I wasn't helping the patients as much. That's what I felt like. If I would have known nurses are pretty much doing what doctors were doing in the 1980s, they're doing now, I probably would have stuck with nursing, right? But I did move on, and I went to San Diego State for a while with anthropology, and then I decided when I moved to Texas, and I decided, well, I'm going to go to traditional college and keep going after my bachelor's, or I'm going to do something new and different. And I was fascinated with acupuncture, though I never had it before. So my first semester is when I got to experience acupuncture for the first time, and after that, I just felt like it was amazing. At the time, I had two children, and one of my children was cesarean section, and I wasn't taking birth control. It had been 7 years, and I just not going to get pregnant again. And that first semester at acupuncture school, we did moxa over my navel, and just fun treatments. I thought we were just having fun. I didn't know that it would make me fertile again.
Wow.
And I've had three other children since then. So yeah, it worked well.
Amazing. I've never had it done before. Came close. Side note, I have a marketing company. I've done marketing for people who done brochures, so I've read up on it, but I've just never gotten around to doing it, and I got to change that. You said that some insurance will honor some of the treatments depending. You mentioned back or lower back. I think it was Medicaid or certain type of Medicaid. What are some of the other things that insurance might cover?
I'm well, veterans can get it for free if they just ask their community care. They're covered with that insurance to see an acupuncturist for free,
Well,
and that's a huge benefit for them. And of course, the Veterans Administration has studied it. They've got their battlefield acupuncture they do, and
wow.
when they're in the field working, and they have other techniques. They've researched it enough. They realize that it works. It's a actual position at the VA, and when the VA gets too crowded, they send their veterans out to practitioners in the community. That's a huge part of my practice is veterans. And
Wow.
the second most are Medicare Advantage, people on Medicare Advantage programs, and some regular insurances with employers like Raytheon definitely carry it. If you're with the federal government, it's Blue Cross Blue Shield. You can get treatment, I think 18 a year. So it just depends on your particular insurance.
Wow. Says a lot that it's used in the field for our military.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I mean, war is stressful. Yeah.
Yeah. Interestingly, along the same lines, we're talking about it works because of the energy in the body, but even Reiki masters are in the last number of years being allowed to be in surgical suites.
Yeah.
And not just for the patients, but for the doctors to make sure their energy is okay. And it's my understanding that many times, even though they want them in there, why not? Um, Insurance companies won't allow it because it's one more layer or somebody else in the surgery suite, and they just don't permit that.
Right. And research is getting there where they're doing statistics where it's starting to show improvement of outcomes for
Sure,
patients
exactly.
post and pre-surgery. And um, I don't go into surgical rooms and do acupuncture
Right.
or dental, but I do know that there are some people that do.
Amazing. Isn't it crazy that this is stuff that's been around for hundreds of years? I mean, Reiki, I believe, was around for a long time, but it was only, since the beginning of the 1900s where it was given a name and this is what it is and et cetera, et
Right.
cetera. I've been doing it forever. Same thing with acupuncture. And here it is, 2024. We know it works. We talk about it, but people are still like tiptoeing around it. It just kind of blows my mind after all this time. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Mm.
there's been and it's an interesting journey, we'll say.
Yeah, yeah, but gratifying in that more and more people these days are realizing that there's more out there. Yes, we put our doctors on a pedestal. A lot of good reason for that, but doesn't mean they always have the right answer. Doesn't mean what they're going to do is going to work. Doesn't mean that when they prescribe something and you pop some pills, that's going to do it.
Right.
Hmm. Let's move to a thing called cupping. Now, I remember, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 years ago, ish, it was big with celebrities. And you would see
Yeah.
pictures online of these round circles in their
Yeah.
back. And that's where we first started learning about cupping. Uh, let's go to the basics. What exactly is it?
So cupping's a manual therapy. It's usually you use glass or silicone, and the silicone cups just don't need fire to make them work. But fire cupping, we use glass. And so we put a cotton ball in alcohol, basically, light it on fire and put it in the glass cup and then put the glass cup on the skin. And then since you pull the oxygen out, it sucks the skin up. And so it basically, when you're done, it lengthens the muscle. It pulls out toxins. It pulls out, I've pulled out shrapnel before. I mean, it was like,
What?
yeah, it was a big surprise when it came out. I was like, what is this? A little piece of metal on the patient's skin. And I touched it and I was like, oh my God, I just pulled out and of course he goes, yeah, I was hit with some shrapnel right there. I was like, okay, so we got it out. Um, it does pull out fluid out of the interstitial spaces and out of the muscles. And that's the lactic acid. That's why the swimmers like to do it. And the other performance type athletes like cupping because they can keep going. You know how it is when you've put out a lot of energy, you've worked, you're sore and you can't hardly do that move anymore.
Sure.
You're just really sore.
Mm.
So when you do the cupping, it pulls the lactic acid out, so it increases your performance abilities.
Wow. So, couple of questions. And by the way, thank you for explaining that. Here we are, a decade and a half. I still didn't know how it worked. I didn't know that it was, something, there was fire inside the cup that obviously, yeah, it needs oxygen. So it's going to try and get it from somewhere. So it's pulled from your skin. So a bunch of questions. Um, can you get burned? It's hot.
Yeah, of course.
Didn't expect that answer, by the way.
Well, if the practitioner puts too much alcohol on the cotton ball and then lights it on fire and you're over the top of the patient, and that can drip on the patient and burn, and it's not going to be a big burn or any big huge problem, but it can happen. Also, if they get the fire too close to the patient's skin instead of inside the cup, that could happen. I've heard of it happening, but it's very rare. It's never happened to me or any other practitioner I know that practices. I've never heard of it.
Don't you have to move fast? I mean, okay, cup in
Yeah.
hand. Um, I'm guessing you put the cotton ball inside the cup, a little bit of alcohol, or you put the alcohol on the
No,
cotton ball
you put the cotton
first.
ball on a hemostat. So it's on a hemostat. So it's clipped and it holds tight,
Ah,
right? So it never will touch the patient's skin. You could do it the other way, but you have a higher chance of burning the other way, right? So if you have it on a hemostat, which that looks like a little pair of scissors, right? But it's
yeah,
got a
yeah.
little clip at the end where it holds it
I watched
tight.
MASH before. I know.
Yay! All right. So yeah, then you put the alcohol on the cotton ball on the end of the hemostat, and then you just put it inside the cup,
Yeah.
pull it out quick, and then put the cup down.
Oh, okay. So I was thinking that the cotton ball and the alcohol and the flame is in there, and you do one of these, put it down quick.
I've
No.
seen that technique before, and I'm not a fan of it.
Hmm. Interesting. So, how do you know where to put it on the person's body?
Well, because that's where they're saying it hurts.
Okay.
My neck hurts, my back hurts, my shoulder hurts, my sciatic is going off and it's going down my leg. Uh,
Gotcha.
yeah, they will tell you where it hurts, and then you palpate. Well, as a practitioner, then the practitioner would palpate and see where they would want to do that cupping at. A lot of times I just go up and down the paravertebrals that's either side of the spine. If that's where they're having pain in the neck and the back and the spine area, if you run cups up and down beside the spine on each side, it's going to give them a lot of relief. There's two types of
Mhm.
cupping. There's stationary cupping and there's migrating cupping.
Wow. Um, I'm I can't believe when I looked up, but we're almost out of time. And I've learned so much in a very short period of time. Um, Amazing how this all works and the detoxification that takes place even with cupping and certainly the lactic acid. Lots still to cover next time we get together, especially herbal medicine, which reach over here and say, I'm a big fan, and we'll just leave it
Oh
at
yeah.
that.
All right.
Changed my life, kept me out of a hospital
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly a year ago. I'll explain next time we get together. Tell us about how somebody reaches out to you. Obviously, a lot of things nowadays can be done virtually. These are not things that can be done virtually.
Right. So the prescription herbal medicine can be done
Yes.
telemedicine. I can
Yep.
see someone through telemedicine and then give them a prescription, make it here. Yeah, I have a lot of herbs here.
Sure.
I can make up a formula and send it to them. Everything else, like acupuncture, cupping, and injections, have to be done in person. Correct.
Sure. And
So
you're located in Arizona, right?
yeah, so I have two locations. I own Rose Hill Wellness, and that is in Thatcher, Safford area, Arizona. And of course, a person can go to my website at rosehillwellness.org, O-R-G, or they can call 928-235-4526. And the other place that I practice at is in Tucson, and it's called Envision Wellness. And their phone number is 520-398-4900. And there are two doctors there, and that is myself and Julie Armstrong.
And your website?
For Envision Wellness,
Sure. What's the best one if we want to find out anything about you or even just reach out to you?
rosehillwellness.org, O-R-G.
Gotcha. Alissa, great talking with you today. Whoa, learned a lot. A lot of surprises there too, and excited next time we get together to dig into something called tuna. I hope I'm saying that correctly.
Twaina.
Twaina. That's why I asked. And herbal medicine and so much more. Thanks for being here today.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the mytuner-radio, online radio box, and simpleradio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.